I just learned some jazz today, it's true.
Wow, so you got a little goal list, to-do list here.
A little ambitious.
So what we gotta do, we gotta buy a turkey, brine a turkey, place shipped order, dry rub turkey. So why'd you make what's going on?
Look, Vince, the fact of the matter is if you put your goals in writing, they happen.
Check out this new episode. We talk about the thesis of goals. We give some tips.
And look, when you're making these goals at home, we want you to tag us on Instagram so we can see what you're up to.
Exactly. Sorry, we're horrible actors. We'll figure out one day.
Are you impressed though, for real?
Actually, yeah. What's up, guys? It's Vince from the Irie Lemon Podcast. Make sure you subscribe, and subscribe, baby.
Hey, you gon' learn this jazz today.
I made you lunch today, but lentil soup. No, it's good. A Lebanese lentil soup with like cinnamon. It's fantastic.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Yum. All right, guys, we're back.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How do you guys like our new setup?
Isn't it cozy?
Yeah, I feel really cozy. I feel really good.
Do you?
Yeah.
This is like how we normally hang out. This is much more normal. Right?
Do we hang out?
Not really.
No, I'm kidding.
This is just for
this is definitely yeah, but more cozy, less what's the word I'm looking for?
Staged?
Yeah, staged or sterile.
Yeah.
You know, how do I look?
Oh dear God. Well,
I feel good.
you
feel
look
good?
great, man.
You know why I feel good?
Why?
Because we crushed our goals in 2020.
I know. I'm so excited. So guys, we're going to talk about goals today because Vince and I are very, dare I say it, goal-oriented.
Very ambitious.
Very ambitious. We want a lot. And
A whole lot.
Drake says we want a lot. He says we can't have everything, but we want everything, and that's facts.
Can't have everything. I want everything.
And I think today we're going to take a minute. We're heading closer to the new year, fresh start. I would say January is like the Monday of the year. And we wanted to talk.
That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah. So tell everybody why we want to talk about this today.
Well, so we did an episode on SMART goals, so you guys should definitely check that out. But, 2021 is coming up. And I have a saying, like, you should have done it last year, right? And my saying is that, like, everyone has these goals and dreams, like, I want to lose 50 pounds, I want to make $1 million, I want to get married, I want to, whatever it is. And, like, they end up not executing it, they end up not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the joke is, like, you should have done it last year. And 2020, the joke finally made sense.
Right.
Because every new year, like, I have another year to do it.
Yeah.
Right? 2020, we were hit with a pandemic, we were shut down. And so I think a lot of people felt the pressure.
2020 took away everyone's 2020 revealed your truths. It revealed your strengths, your weaknesses. It took the clothes off.
So I'll be vulnerable here. 2020 for me realized that I was not doing enough.
Yeah.
It showed me that I have to create boundaries, I have to create silos, and I have to work even harder because tomorrow's not promised. And I was working harder than a lot of other people, but from my levels, skating, right, through a lot of things, right? And going through the emotions on a lot of things. And I realized that I don't want to be that person, right? Because, as we saw 2020, and don't get me wrong, like I said earlier, I did crush all my goals by skating through. So imagine if I set bigger goals and worked my ass off for it, what could happen in 2021? Right. And so we were talking earlier, and I think that's why we got to this. It was your idea, about talking about goals.
Yeah, our goal-setting episode is one of the most popular episodes of all time. Again, if you haven't listened, we highly recommend you check that out after this episode, and the links will be in the show notes. Goal setting is super important, and today I want to talk specifically about reasons why you didn't make your goals in 2020.
Yes.
And we're going to kind of share our own perspective about, as Vince alluded to, we did set some goals and some ambitious goals at the beginning of this year. We were in Jamaica the first week or so of January. Mm-hmm. Vince's land of...
My homeland.
Homeland.
Land of opportunity.
Land of opportunity. My first time.
Jamaica.
So we're going to talk about a few reasons why you didn't make your goals this year. So let's start off, speaking of Jamaica, one of our first tips is you need to set aside time specifically for setting those goals, and we suggest a change of scenery.
For sure.
And why is that so important?
If you're stuck in this is my opinion, if you're stuck in the day-to-day, where are you gaining your inspiration?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you gaining your motivation? Right? And it could be, I mean, you could be different than me or different than you, and you could just go in your room and write down your goals, and that's fine. I do think whether it's going to a coffee shop, I don't know if they're open right now, or going outside for a walk, or going to a cabin, or going to Jamaica, or going to wherever you can go.
Even getting a hotel room locally, guess what? They're probably super cheap.
Exactly.
You could even rent it just for the afternoon. I know a lot of hotels are doing work virtually things. So to your point, it's not that you have to necessarily go somewhere super far away or even overnight, because we know it's not feasible for everybody.
Yeah.
Even a couple hours in a hotel room.
It's totally fine.
Dude, chilling in a lobby of a hotel room.
Exactly.
Has a cool vibe, cool energy. I don't know.
And I think you should shake it up. And I think that'll help you think about your future, right? Not everybody's such a visionary of future thinking. Some people are present, right? And so I think you need to give yourself the space with no distractions to think about what are your goals and why.
Yeah, because especially to the fellow parents out there, this was a ringer of a year if you had school-age children. Obviously, it's a ringer of a year if you have young children, younger than school age. But, if you have kids at home, your spouse is probably home also, not working in an office. I know in my family, this is the most time we've all spent, together in one roof with a lot fewer of those things that fill our tank. So getting out of the house, we just really recommend it because it's going to give you a fresh perspective and just put yourself in the right place mentally to start creating those ambitious goals.
I like that. Step one, get out the house.
Get out of the house. Change the scenery. All right, number 2. Go ahead.
I'll say number 2 for me will be being honest and being clear about your goals. I think a lot of people write down goals that sound good.
Yeah.
Right. And
just there's no actual practicality behind it.
Yeah. And we talk about why a lot. I talk about more than just, not only why and not only goals that you can achieve. What are goals that are going to make you take that step every single day? Because writing down goals is that's step 0. Anyone can dream about a house. Right. It takes some real work to lay a foundation to build it. And so, what are the things you want to accomplish in your 2021? Right. And then when listening to this in 2025, what are you trying to accomplish in 2026?
So what you're saying is make them realistic.
Well, realistic, but also what's going to make you take action. Right? I feel like you have such a big stomach, big eyes, and then you can't finish your sandwich. Right. And then you feel like you didn't accomplish your goals.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? Yeah. But so that's being realistic. But also what is your sandwich? What do you want to eat? Right? I'll sit down with people and their goals aren't really specific of what they're trying to accomplish. Yeah.
And that's where the SMART comes in, because SMART is specific, measurable. I always forget the A.
Me too.
It's in the episode. Realistic, timely. So the whole thing is that it forces actionable. Yeah. So it forces you to create goals that you can actually achieve, because that helps you get momentum. Which, if you're into momentum, Vince just did a whole episode about momentum. But by knocking off a few goals, you're gonna want to keep striving, because it gives you that momentum. Like with weight loss, you lose a pound, you lose another one, and then you lose 5, and then you lose 15, because you're building off that momentum.
So what are some things that make you, and this kind of probably fits in the realm of consistency. How do you do that? Because I don't know how to teach that to other people.
Which part? How to do what specifically?
Do it every day. Because that's what I'm trying to get down to. Okay. How can you make it actionable to do it every day? Because that's the difference. That's going to be the difference.
Absolutely. So it's all about forming habits that you can, doing things every day is how you form a habit. And once you have a habit, that leads to actual change. And the trick with habits, and of course there's books out there like Atomic Habits, and we can link to that in the show notes, but by doing something small every single day, it leads up to something really big. There's the book notes, show notes. There's the cliff notes to that book. So for example, with weight loss, every meal you have, try to have some whole foods, fiber, protein, healthy fats. Just focus on that for your next meal. Just don't worry about tomorrow, next month, losing 20 pounds, being in a bikini, fitting into a wedding dress. Just at your next meal, focus on just what are you going to eat at that next meal, and then do it again, and then do it again. Same thing with exercise. Same thing with it's just a little bit about small, tiny habits. Do those every day. That's what adds up to something really big. It's not realistic that you're going to find $1 million client tomorrow.
At all.
That's just not.
Yeah.
That's not. So that's where, again, we really can't stress heavy enough the SMART goals.
Yeah.
All right. I have another one.
Right.
Another reason why you may not have reached your goals this year. You forgot to fill your cup. Guys.
Talk about it.
You need to fill your cup. And this is all about having the right mindset. And just as much as your mind, your body. So different things fill people's cups, correct? So, for example, Vince needs alone time to recharge after being in a group. That fills his cup. For me, I have to be around people. That fills my cup. And it's oddly enough tricky for both of us, even though we're in a pandemic. But yeah, so for example, this year, I lost all of my social interaction. So parties, events, I was going out all the time, just networking events, store openings for fellow business owners or, dinners out or whatever it might be, drinks with the girls, like all of those fun, basic things that super, super, super filled my cup went away for good reason. So I had to learn how to replace that with other things. Equally so, I now have no alone time because my husband works from home. So I'm never alone. And I realized I used to have alone time during the day to listen to a podcast, zone out. And now every few minutes, my husband wants to chit chat. And that's just the reality is I lost all of my alone time. So just to be clear, we're not saying this is easy. And nor are we saying that it was not something that, my point of matter is you have to be proactive and carve it out. Mm-hmm. So I had to find a way to carve in those things to fill my cup. But you can't sit back and assume or hope it'll happen. You have to be proactive with it and take those efforts to schedule it in.
Yeah, like you can't go nowhere in your car if you have no gas.
Correct. That's such a good way. And I can't, as like an Enneagram 2 helper, I can't help people if I haven't filled my cup first.
100%.
So it's hard as a mom. It's hard as a wife. It's hard when you're in a house with a bunch of people. I'm sure it's hard for everybody. That's just my personal experience. So you have to work a little harder now. It was a lot easier before. I had a full calendar. I was traveling once a month. I had alone time. I had a gym that was open. I had all these easy ways to fill my cup. But you know what? This is a gift now because we won't take those things for granted. Exactly.
So next tip is you don't think in abundance. And I think a lot of people, after we did our goal setting in Jamaica, I extended opportunities with some friends of mine, other people to come and do goal setting with me again.
Pay it forward.
And just so, abundance thinking of like, if we all can do this together, we can all co-benefit off each other's wins.
Like a rising tide lifts all ships.
Right? And so I think a lot of people don't have an abundance mindset. Mm-hmm. They think too small. They don't think there's enough out there. But you look at the numbers in the reality, like poverty is down, like babies' deaths are down. Yeah. Like the world is getting better.
Right.
There's more jobs. There's more opportunity.
You can start a company today.
Exactly.
With no money. Because of the internet and social media.
So you're not thinking, you don't have the abundance mindset. You think you'll tell me 10 reasons why you can accomplish something before you can tell me 10 reasons why you can. And so while you're writing your goals, if you're not in a good place mentally, you're not thinking abundant, you're not thinking about how can you be consistent and attack these goals, you're not going to accomplish it, right? You're going to write it out of fear instead of out of love.
Correct. And if you don't think you can achieve those goals, you won't. If you think you can, you will. So I, the other day, looked at my QuickBooks to see how far I was from my goals. Admittedly, I'm not super numbers focused. My husband pays all of our bills. He cashes all of our checks or deposits them. So I literally don't even know what's happening a lot of times. I don't spend a lot of my energy in that because I learned early on that all that time and energy you spend, whether you're checking your engagement or your likes or your insights or your page views or your traffic or your revenue, all that time and energy, what you're not doing is selling and you're not getting new clients. So you're not creating content. So I really don't spend a lot of time on that. So I was like, oh gosh, the year's almost over. I should probably see where I'm at.
Yeah.
Again, being proactive as opposed to January being like, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
So I looked and I saw the number and I saw, I'll just be honest, I'm $80,000 away from my goal. I have about $40K out in invoices that haven't been paid to me yet. So that leaves a balance of about another $40K that I have to find out of thin air.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to find it.
You're going to find it, baby.
I'm going to find it. So my goal in the next 5 weeks is to make an additional $40K
mm-hmm.
that isn't already out invoiced. So that's my goal. And I believe I will. I know I texted you yesterday.
Yeah. And so, you did text me yesterday, and I know you will too. And so that's a great example of making a goal, even in the next, 5 weeks or so that we have. And that's not a fear-based goal, right? Like how you know that you're thinking in fear or you're devaluing yourself is when you make goals of I should, I could, I would. You're not living up to your highest value. Mm-hmm. You're saying I should lose weight versus I am going to lose weight.
Correct.
Like what's your mindset behind it? Like you're not saying, oh, I need to make before the time runs out. You're like, okay, I have 40K out. Like what am I going to come up? What creative ideas? So one of the clients listening, and your list client,
need a video, need a blog post.
Let's help her crush this goal together. So like
sponsored podcast episode. What's up?
Help me out too. But yeah, so I think.
And I could give $1 million. You guys, it's a pandemic. I'm a mom. It's the holidays. Holidays are also extra work. It's Q4. I'm a food blogger. I have 1,000,001 excuses. But what good is that going to
do? Your goal shouldn't be like a progress report. It shouldn't feel like you're being like unless you're an A student, and you probably love that. But like if you're not an A student, it shouldn't feel like like something that
you guys. No one's looking at my goals but me.
Yeah,
you're competing with yourself. I'm not turning it in to Vince for a grade.
It should be inspiring. It should make you get you excited. It should remind you of why you're doing it.
So you guys need to hold me to this in January. Vince, you'll have to ask and well,
I'll ask and we'll see. You crush that
now, all right, what's your next one?
Wait, and I just do one?
Oh, was that yours? Okay, I have another one then. Well, I thought abundance was yours.
Yeah, just do abundance.
Oh, perfect. I'm excited for mine. Okay, so if you didn't make your goals this year, you probably don't have the right circle of 5.
Hot take.
So we've talked about this, and we'll link to it in the show notes, about how important it is to have a strong circle.
Pace.
Yeah.
Keep going. Sorry.
Vince is into this. So, all right. I'll quickly intro it, and you can talk about pace. I do think it's an important lesson. You guys, you've heard this 1,000,000 times, but it is true. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And there is, unfortunately, no way out of that. So, whether that's your spouse, significant other, a best friend, a colleague. I know many people are working in offices still, or, all those frontline workers, thank you. You're working with people. There are people that still are working with coworkers. Whoever it is, it could be someone you talk on the phone with a lot, someone you text with a lot, and someone you spend time with in person. And I always explain it like this, Vince. And you can literally think about this with people you interact with. When you interact with somebody, whether it's in person, I know it's limited nowadays, in person, on the phone, text, all those count, Zoom call. How do you feel after that call? Are you hyped up? Are you excited? Are you motivated? Are you happy? Do you feel loved? Do you feel positive, right? Or do you feel sad, nervous, depleted, down, depressed, anxious, stressed out? If you feel negative after, you have to set boundaries, which Vince is talking about, and you need to also be proactive. So obviously set boundaries against those negative people, but additionally find more time with the positive people.
Yeah.
It can't just be, I'm always more of it's got to be both.
Yeah.
Dial down the negative and boost up the positive, because if you cut people out, you have to replace them with positive.
Exactly.
You can't just be cutting everyone out and then you have no one, And you can't just be.
Don't do the fake, toxic, cancel, cut everybody out, and then you don't accomplish your goals.
Yes.
What's up, guys? Subscribe. Tell your best friend, tell your mom, tell your neighbor, Tell your 4-year-old kid, please listen.
We appreciate you. And thank you so much for all of your 5-star reviews on Apple. That helps us get this podcast out to other people who will enjoy. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
And with that, enjoy the rest of the episode.
You gon' learn, you gon' learn.
You can't just be...
Don't do the fake, toxic, cancel, cut everybody out, and then you don't accomplish your goals.
Yes.
Like, don't put on everybody else.
No.
Like, you could also be the problem.
Pace. Talk about pace.
Well, so first, this kind of leads to my next tip, but I'm going to tie it all in. So I agree with the 5. And I think it ties into knowing what you want. And this is going to tie into pace.
Okay.
So I was going to follow that by knowing what you want. Right?
Okay.
Like, if you know what you want, it helps you with the 5 people that you're in constant contact with. This is not saying you don't hang out with your girlfriends. It's not saying you don't hang out with your guy friends. It's not saying that, like, you like block people on Instagram unless they're like, unless it really does distract you and affect you that way.
We're not encouraging cancel culture.
I'm not trying to say that. What I'm trying to say is that if you want to run a 5-minute mile, you cannot be running or on the track with people who are walking miles. Like, your goal is to run 5-minute miles. So with your pace, you got to find people who are on track to do that or are currently doing that.
So can you give an example that's less metaphorical?
I mean, like...
for some of us that aren't,
as intuitive.
Or is that a perceiver?
I don't
Who
know.
the heck?
Okay, let's
but
say...
I just think examples are so helpful.
Well, I'm trying to... Okay, so for example, with me, right? I want to make 7 figures.
Yeah.
Right? Personally. So I got to get around people who are high 6-figure earners.
Yeah.
Right? And high 7-figure earners and spend a lot of time with them. Not for them to give me anything, not for them to really tell me what to do, but to soak up how they think and how they operate.
Yeah.
Because it's a different level, right? And I'm trying to connect it back. I want to connect it back to running.
Because if you're only spending time with people that are just nowhere near that, or
it's not they're bad people. It's like that's not their goals. And so I'll make them feel bad. Or they'll make me feel bad. I'm like, oh, we can do this, and they're not there. They're not.
Or what I do is I buffer myself to make them feel more comfortable because I'm harmony driven.
Yeah.
So I'll actually like downplay my successes or try to mute myself.
That.
I know.
Because now you're feeling weird.
Vince will call me out if I.
These are your friends and people that you care about. You shouldn't have to buffer yourself down or like change. It should be something that is encouraging. And you're in my circle. You're on my team. You might not care about the details as much, so I'm not going to bore you with the details. But I have to go find the people who are running 5-minute miles.
Or if they're not, they're cheering you along the way.
Exactly. So
it's not. Everyone doesn't have to run at your pace, but they need to be cheerleading at that. They need to be running with you fast enough to cheer you on.
Yeah. Or they cheer you on or whatever it is. You make that mental decision of and it has to be public. It has to be a text. It's like, okay.
You've been demoted to
you don't do
You're
that.
Second cheerleader. You were first.
People probably figure it out, and the good ones will let you go.
100%.
So I learned something the other day. I think the perfect cadence for running a mile where you can breathe perfectly and not get tired is like 175.
Okay.
Something. I forgot the terminology. All you runners out there know.
Did you run?
No. I didn't run personally.
I was gonna say, what's happening here?
Well, I used to run during COVID. I was warm out, but it's cold and I'm saying.
I was gonna say I was about to be being impressed.
It's too cold for the
Let's be
Jamaican
clear,
boy.
we're not talking about actual. We don't actually run in real life.
Yeah.
So this is not about actual.
I run businesses. Here we go. Which ends up being like a 7:40 pace.
Okay.
Which then you can breathe perfectly. You don't get tired.
Okay. So the 7 minute.
So So if you're under 7:40 pace,
you're amazing.
No, you are. Thank you for running. Yes, but like you're gonna get more tired. You're gonna feel the strain.
I see. So the optimal.
Optimal for humans is a 7:40 pace. If you can do it, you can be running fast. You're gonna not believe that you can do it. But at that pace, you can breathe fine. You're not going to feel the strain. Okay. Your body's going to go, is it cohesive? Whatever.
Yeah,
I can't say
cohesive.
Whatever cohesive. Or whatever, guys.
Words aren't.
I'm not Nike, but like you can breathe and you'd be happy at that level. So I would say for a lot of people, of knowing what you want, get to that point first.
Yeah.
That manageable where like you feel the pressure, you like the pace, and then from there you can dictate how far you want to go.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I also have another one if you don't have
Let's hear it. I'll do it when we're done.
Oh, you can go ahead. I can wait for you to. to be done.
You are spending, if you didn't make your goals this year, you probably spent too much time worrying about what other people think.
Oh. I posted that graphic on my Instagram the other day.
You did? What did it say?
It was like a little dot of like...
how much time people are spending thinking about you, how much time you think they are, and how much time they are. I personally have never struggled with this. I never worry about people. You guys, type 2s, it's an issue. So I've had to work really hard on this. And to Vince's point, I've learned a few things. So I think I learned this probably first with weight loss at the gym. No one's looking at you.
No one cares.
No one cares. And same thing.
If they do, F them.
Correct. And number 2, in business, no one's going to notice a typo, a mistake, you looked weird in an outfit in a video, or your recipe isn't perfect, the photos aren't perfect. No one's going to notice that stuff. So I'm not suggesting you don't strive to improve or to do better or to put out typos. Those things are all super important to me. I really care about the quality of my work because that's how I attract clients and that's how I want my brand to be. However, if you worry so much about what other people think, you're never going to start. You're never going to put yourself out there. You're never going to publish your work, press play, press publish, press start. You're never going to do that. So you have to get some perspective, go for a walk, stand outside, look at nature, remind yourself how small you are. As I tell everyone that joins my team, we're not performing cancer surgery. We have a lot of margin to make some mistakes. Mm-hmm. I want people doing, and I want people in action more than talking and ideating.
So would you say, like, put your blinders on, right? Like, you know, when people run in track or a horse, the reason why they do that so that they're not looking around. They're 100%. Focusing on...
Stay in your own lane.
Stay in your lane.
Put your blinders on. Love Liz.
I like that one a lot. Man, it's escaping me now. I just had one that I was going to go off that.
About pace. We're talking about running. Circle.
Blinders. No one cares. I had a tidbit I wanted to add to that. But I'm losing it. I'll get to my other tip. Okay. So you're afraid of the pressure. So another reason why you haven't accomplished your goals is that you don't like the pressure. You guys, the pressure when it feels like it's all caving in.
Yeah. And
you feel the pressure on your back and it's not easy. That's how you know you're making big breakthroughs. And that's how you know you're on track. When it's too easy breezy, something's wrong.
So what you're trying to say is you didn't make your goals if you were avoiding discomfort.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Because I feel like anytime I've had major growth, for example, working out, it's extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Right now I'm reforming my company so that I can step into more of a CEO role, which means I have to hire different positions, organize things differently, get the right people in place, get systems in place. Long story short, it's extremely uncomfortable.
Yes.
And that's how I know I'm doing the right thing. Is that what you're saying?
That's how you know. And the reason why we feel that discomfort is because we have old brains.
Correct.
Billion age-old brains that have fight or flight, that know danger.
Oh, man.
Right?
My body is literally like, this is not... We were comfortable.
Yeah, so that's normal. So don't feel like Liz or myself or anyone you look up to... that's the one I want to do.
Okay.
I'm going to tie that in. But don't have those moments.
Right.
Or doesn't have those moments. Like... That's completely human, and that's normal, and that's how you know you're on the right track. If you're trying to lose 50 pounds, it's going to be hard mentally, but also on your knees.
Right.
50 pounds you got to lose.
Yeah.
That's part of it. You're trying to make 5 figures, and you've only made 4. It's going to be crying and frustration.
And probably what got you there is no longer serving you, so you have to mourn the loss of being really good at it. So you have to be comfortable learning and in that new phase where you're not good at it.
1,000 shots. Failure first.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're on the right track.
Right.
No one is that perfect.
Yeah.
And so this goes to what I wanted to say earlier with the blinders on. Stop putting people on such a high pedestal.
Correct.
We're all human beings.
Right.
We're all at the same level. People ask me why I don't get intimidated by this person or that person, because that person has, eats like I have to eat, breathes like I have to breathe. Like, I'm not intimidated by a status or a title or by wealth or by an Instagram account.
Yeah.
So when you start doing that, you start devaluing yourself, and that's another reason why you haven't accomplished your goals, because you're thinking your best friend, you're thinking Liz, you're thinking Vince is so far ahead. And you start thinking I should be like them. I wish. No, be yourself.
Yeah.
Be the best you. Figure out how you can TikTok that. You know what I'm saying? Like figure out how you can make that work.
Right.
And having the blinders on helps with that. I think for your success, my success, and people around us, like, I've never done that. Like it's inspiring to be inspired.
Right.
But like to then take that, and that's recognizing it in yourself, but only recognizing it within them, and then do this fake humble thing. Or like, oh no, that's all. Like it's nice in conversation. Just really don't believe that.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna you're cutting yourself at the knees before you even started.
Right.
Because now you're making it only Liz can do that. No.
Yeah.
There's no edge. The edge is believing in yourself.
Right. Exactly.
That's the edge.
I love that. Yeah, and I think what you're talking about really reminds me of how if you see someone doing something and it makes you feel a way, use that as an opportunity to look inward and see what it is they're doing that you probably wish you were doing. So if you follow an Instagram account that makes you feel like yucky or jealous or whatever, what is it that they're doing? You need to then take that as like
Take stock.
Yeah, and that's the thing with emotions. Vince knows I love emotions, and emotions provide a lot of value because it's basically like a red light warning coming on your car. It's a check engine light.
Yeah.
So if you feel an emotion that it's a negative emotion, I'm talking, use that to figure out where things aren't aligned. And so, for example, jealousy is always, even though it feels yucky, it's an indication that someone has something or possesses something or is doing something or has launched something that you wish you were doing. Yeah. So just instead of like feeling yucky, use that and channel that energy into achieving, into doing, into getting started.
Yeah, like one thing, not to my parents, they did a great job with my sister and I. I've never been envious or jealous of anybody in my life.
It's true. He doesn't.
And then I don't have that button. Right. I only get inspired.
Right.
I only okay, that makes me want to do that for me too. Like I've never been because it goes back to abundance.
Right.
Right. And thinking in there's so much, especially if you live in the States.
Right.
Guys, you have it good.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
I know. Yeah, there's no fixed amount. So this is a pandemic. It was a tough year. It is a tough time. We're not done. There's no less money now than there was in January.
There's more. They're literally printing more.
They're literally printing it. But I don't want to get into that right now. There's technically more money now than there was.
Yes.
I have more money now than I did before. So I think that we have to just have some perspective. And again, I think it all comes back to having the right mindset, focusing on abundance, not making excuses, acting on love, not fear, and setting out time, being proactive about what you want to achieve in the next year, and then taking ownership for it. And here's
ownership.
What I was going to say is so exciting. Normally in life, there's so many things we have no control over, especially right now. There's a literal virus we don't even technically at this moment have a vaccine for. So we are being forced, we can't eat in restaurants where we live. Yeah. We can't go to bars. You can't enter certain places that are negative COVID. You have to wear a mask. There's a lot of things we have to do that are out of our control. And you're forced to homeschool. These are big things. Your office is closed. You have to work from home with your kids all around you. There's a lot of things happening that are out of our control. So you can sit and focus on all that. And let me know how that turns out for you. I hope you
doesn't work.
Hope you have a therapist. Or you can focus on the 8,000 things that I could literally list for you that are in your control 100%. Who you hang out with, who you give your energy to, who you spend your assets on, time, money, energy, what you're going to accomplish this year, how much effort you're going to take towards reaching those goals, what work you're going to put in, how much work you're going to put in, the quality of work you're going to put in, who you're going to surround yourself. All these things are fully in your control, which isn't that amazing that you can control something right now?
Yeah, I agree. I think stop complaining, you're in control. My industry was completely affected by the pandemic, and you've not seen one post, one tweet, one Instagram, or one story of me complaining. I'm not judging others in my industry who have, I just don't like the feeling of feeling like a victim or feeling that I'm not in control of my destiny.
Right.
Because I put myself there. No one made me have a restaurant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like no one made you gain 50 pounds. No one made you like, and sometimes it's tough to hear. But no one made you poor, right? Now, like there is like things that are out of your control as a kid. I'm not saying if you grew up because like I'm not from wealth at all.
We're talking about the most
I'm
people
saying,
listening to this podcast are not that.
Exactly. So, but if you are trying,
if you're holding an iPhone right now listening to this, you're not.
Trust me, if you don't have an iPhone, right? Like you are in control of how much money you want to make. Now, when I say how much you want to, that doesn't mean that's what you get, right? But how much your mentality behind it.
I actually think how much you get is actually a direct reflection of how much you want it. But that's a separate. Maybe that's another topic.
Well, that's where. Yeah, I think.
So we're going to go into this deeper. We're going to talk specifically in upcoming episodes about money, weight loss, etc. But yeah.
But to tie it in, you are in control.
Yeah.
Even when it hurts, you're in control.
In fact, probably more so when it hurts.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to this episode.
Let us know what you think.
Liz, any updates? Anything cool going on that people need to know about?
Look, you guys, if you haven't already, chances are we probably still have a few seats left in the mastermind. So mastermind. You can learn more at irielemon.com. What else for you?
I have an idea. Maybe we can get Kirk and Kara on it.
Okay.
We should probably think about doing a maybe like a small goal setting PDF.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
So if you guys see that, we decided yes. If not, then we said no. But or how about if you listen to this episode, let us know if you will like that of how we make our goals. And maybe we can share about how we crushed some of our goals.
Perfect.
Like, I know, real quick, can we say numbers for Irie Lemon or no?
Sure.
I know we set a goal of 25,000.
Yeah.
And we crushed that.
Yeah.
And that was during a pandemic.
Right. Making $0.
$0.
In the first year, it's pretty
good. First year, it's from 0 to 25. And so we're probably going to double or quadruple on that for next year. And so maybe we can show you guys that process. Yeah. To give you guys some actionable, not my run the pace at 7:40.
Right.
No? All right, guys.
Maybe next year we'll pay ourselves. All right, guys. Peace out.
Going to learn this jazz. Ooh, I even got your girl some jazz yesterday. True.